Tonight, taking issue with her dismissal.
Absolutely, I think it was retribution.
The former City Hall employee who launched a harassment complaint and lost her job.
And all of the women who reported harassment have been pushed out in one way or another.
Plus, breaking ground, a construction milestone reached at the future Volkswagen Gigafactory. And hunkering down for a hurricane. Widespread destruction expected as Melissa makes landfall.
This is what's going to be a generational storm for Jamaica.
CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with the fallout from a human rights investigation at City Hall looking into a director who oversees housing stability services. The former employee who filed that complaint says she was fired afterward, which she claims was retribution. With more, here's Daryl Newcomb.
It's had profound professional and personal and health impacts being in that work environment.
Former City of London employee Kate Green speaking out about turmoil in City Hall's Housing Stability Services Department, where she oversaw contracts between the city and frontline homelessness agencies for almost 7 years. Last year, she filed a human rights complaint against Director of Housing Stability Services Craig Cooper, alleging harassment and disrespectful behavior. A summary of the independent investigation was provided to Green that determined Cooper, quote, engaged in disrespectful, harassing, and discriminatory conduct towards you, and that he, quote, can be loud and at times rude while interrupting others and barking orders. The investigator found that this behavior impacted employees and community representatives. It concludes that Cooper engaged in workplace harassment against you by engaging in disrespectful and unprofessional behavior that contributed to a negative work environment. 3 other allegations in her complaint were deemed not substantiated. Green says she was among a number of managers in the department with concerns about Cooper's behavior.
The people who reported harassment are all gone now. That was not a full year ago, and all of the women who reported harassment have been pushed out in one way or another. They've either left because of the environment, they've been fired without cause, transferred, or are on leave.
The summary of the human rights investigation was written on June 25th. So Green was shocked when a couple months later in September, she was called into a meeting with senior administration and human resources and fired. The agreement to release states that she was being terminated without cause.
Absolutely, I think it was retribution. I think it was reprisal for speaking up about the harassment that not just me, but many women were experiencing, and I suspect continue to experience, but also having filed a complaint to the Pay Equity Commission.
She was offered up to 6 months salary continuation, legal fees, as well as career transitioning. The city also offered a $5,000 lump sum if she dropped her claim made with the Pay Equity Commissioner. But Green turned down the initial offer as well as a subsequent proposal because they included non-disparagement clauses that she says would have kept her from speaking out about the workplace harassment.
When women are pushed out and sign these agreements, they are isolated. They're isolated from each other. There's no peer support because you can't talk to anybody about it. You sign an agreement saying, I will never tell anyone what happened to me here. And it also protects bad actors. So it means the pattern isn't seen, and the people that should be held accountable are not held accountable, and you're bound to silence.
In an email, Civic Administration states, quote, we are not in a position to comment on any individual personnel matter. The City of London is committed to maintaining a workplace that is inclusive, respectful, and free from discrimination, and we follow established processes to address any concerns that are raised. The summary report sent to Green commits to implementing corrective and disciplinary action to support compliance. An external consultant would be hired to restore workplace norms and culture, and Cooper would be assigned a role outside the department until restoration efforts were complete. Earlier this month, Cooper's title appears on a council report as Director of Housing Stability Services, the same role he had when the harassment occurred. Green hopes that by telling her story, Council will seek out a copy of the original report from the independent investigator, a document she herself has not seen. She also wants support offered to the current and past employees impacted by the harassment and for there to be consequences for those responsible.
It seems, from my perspective, that the city went out of its way to protect senior leadership and completely neglected to provide any kind of support for the people who had been harassed.
An interview request sent to Craig Cooper has yet to receive a response. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
London City councillors got their first look at the mayor's proposed 2026 budget today. Josh Morgan is tabling a tax increase of 3.6%, which would be the city's lowest in years. With more on the reception from his colleagues, here's Brian Bicknell.
The rising cost of living and the potential impact of tariffs. They were among concerns raised as the mayor and city finance staff fielded questions on the budget.
Sitting back, watching on this daily soap opera that's going on south of the border and how it's affecting us on a daily basis, and it's beyond predictability.
The impact of tariffs is still to be seen. I don't think we've seen that flow through the economy and by extension flow through the impacts on our budget. So that is something that we will have to keep an eye on.
Councillors got their first look at Mayor Josh Morgan's proposed budget for 2026. It calls for a 3.6% property tax increase or an average of $137 more for residential taxpayers.
We've done the hard work of making significant investments in public safety, transit and housing the past couple of years. Bringing the tax rate down is the responsible thing to do.
The mayor presented cases that would find savings in some departments or simply defund services like green bins for multi-residential.
I think as many residential buildings as possible should be doing the green bin program, so I think that's something that will come up for debate.
The proposed budget also makes cases for additional support for some agencies, such as London Middlesex Community Housing.
Recognizing the pressures we're under in terms of all the properties we have and trying to provide that subsidized housing. So really appreciate it that was included.
Other councillors pointed to items that were not in the budget.
I do see some things that my ward needs, especially with parks, with the TVP, with Harris Park, downtown core area parking.
What I've heard from taxpayers is they want to see that lower rate. So if colleagues are bringing forward amendments that are actually going to increase that over time, I think they're going to have a rough go in the debate process.
Any councillor amendments to the budget must be in by November 10th. Public engagement sessions begin next month, and final approval is set for mid-December. Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
City councillors moved closer to a 35% pay raise next term after a lengthy debate.
People aren't sure if they're going to be employed next week, let alone next month, and then they see their elected representatives giving themselves healthy raises. I'm just not in favor of that.
In order to have more people running and more diversity of representation around the horseshoe, I think it's important that we compensate people effectively for the role.
A majority of committee members supported the independent task force recommendations. Councillor pay would jump from $70,000 a year to $94,000. The deputy mayor and budget chair would each earn more than $100,000. No pay increase is recommended for the mayor. The changes emphasize the seat on council is a full-time position, but that can't be enforced.
I think sometimes that's forgotten in the conversation that this is an important job with a lot of responsibilities, and I think the pay has to reflect that.
If you're running a family restaurant or whatever, if you want excellent employees, you don't provide average working conditions. You don't provide an average salary.
A milestone moment today near St. Thomas. Construction is now underway on the Volkswagen battery factory. As Lauren Stallone reports, local officials are putting forth an optimistic tone in a time of extreme uncertainty in Canada's auto industry.
Ground has officially been broken on Volkswagen's PowerCo electric vehicle battery Gigafactory in St. Thomas.
The mayor hasn't stopped smiling since.
The milestone kicks off development of 3 major buildings at the site, making it the largest facility of its kind in the country. with full production expected to begin in 2027.
Part of the strategic plan that got us to bring this battery factory here, or any industry here, was about the generational change it can do for St. Thomas.
St. Thomas Mayor Joe Preston says this is an exciting time for the community as the Gigafactory is coming to life and already delivering on its promise of prosperity.
Generations in the future can stay here, have a job that pays well enough to buy a home in St. Thomas, and become part of a really vibrant community.
First announced in March of 2023, the facility is set to create up to 3,000 direct jobs, while protecting Ontario's auto manufacturing supply chain amidst the trade war.
This is the world's largest automaker. They don't do a plan for just this year while Donald Trump's got tariffs. They're doing a plan looking forward.
In a statement, the Minister of Economic Development says, at a time of increasing global uncertainty, our government continues to create the conditions for businesses and workers to succeed. We commend PowerCo for moving swiftly to bring this project to life and for recognizing the resilience of Ontario's world-class workforce. Once complete, the site will produce PowerCo's unified cell battery technology with the goal of solidifying Canada's role as a global manufacturing hub. PowerCo says it has launched a major recruitment campaign across southwestern Ontario, with more than 100 applications already received. In a statement, PowerCo says electric vehicles are the future of the global automotive sector, and we are proud to spearhead such a significant investment while positioning Canada at the forefront of innovative EV battery production.
As other areas of southern Ontario continue to look for what's next, St. Thomas can say, we already have it.
Lauren Stallone, CTV News, St. Thomas.
We are live on location tonight at Wolf Performance Hall. The Forest City Film Festival is underway, honoring world-class filmmakers with ties to southwestern Ontario. Dorothy Downs, founder and executive director of the Forest City Film Festival, joins us. Thank you for being with us tonight.
Oh, thank you so much for coming over and checking us out, seeing what's going on here.
Lots of people out and about tonight. Tell us about the film festival experience.
Well, it's 10 days long, and we are halfway through. There's 5 days left. I can't believe how fast time is going. You come, you see a movie, 2 movies, 3 movies. They're independent films from around the world. We've got films that are connected to us that are in competition, tied to southwestern Ontario through some key creative member of the team. And we've also got the biggest and best films from the biggest and most important film festivals around the world. We call it our BOWF program, Best of the World Fest. And so that's going on. We have Imagine Cinemas downtown. The Wolf, the Wolf Performance Hall is our main venue with a fantastic place to hear all the filmmaker talks after. And of course tonight, it's the Youth Film Festival with all of the high school kids from across southwestern Ontario vying for the best filmmakers in southwestern Ontario, the best youth filmmakers in southwestern Ontario.
And how many films are being screened?
Oh, altogether we have about 112 this year. So we've said 100 films, 10 days, and thousands of stories. And it's true. It's and so we're in our 10th year. So that's another 10. It just all fell together, 10 years.
And if people want to find out more or perhaps buy some tickets to one of the film screenings, how can they do that?
It's really simple. Our website's great. It's really easy to maneuver, FCFF. As in forestcityfilmfestival.ca.
All right, well, thank you, Dorothy, so much for joining us. We've had a beautiful day in southern Ontario, gorgeous conditions and lots of sunshine out there. But before we get to that, quickly I want to briefly mention Hurricane Melissa coming in as a Category 5 storm today. This was intense. It will continue to move towards Cuba and the Bahamas tonight. It will start to downgrade to about a Cat 4, Cat 3 as it comes across Cuba, but not before causing catastrophic damage in parts of the Caribbean. Temperatures right now, 9 degrees in London, Midwestern Ontario from 9 to 10, 11 on the hour in Sarnia. High pressure in play, and that will keep us clear tonight. Winds have been out of the east, a bit of an uptick this afternoon. Winds gusting close to 40 kilometers per hour, but we will remain clear as we head through the early evening to just a few clouds out there tonight. Temperatures into the low single digits, but staying just above the freezing mark as we head through the overnight. We will have some patchy frost in parts of our region tonight in and around Mount Forest and KW. Coming up, I'll take you through the extended forecast. We'll look ahead to the next 7. We do have some sunshine on the way for tomorrow, but a weather system moving in could put a damper on some of your Halloween plans. I'll take you through that forecast live on location from Wolf Performance Hall from the Forest City Film Festival.
Thanks very much, Julie. It's a quick turnaround for the World Series after an 18-inning marathon last night. The Dodgers now lead 2-1 with a chance to take a commanding series lead tonight. With more, here's Adrian Gobriel.
High fly to center. Varsho back. Game over.
As Canadian Freddie Freeman put a pin in Game 3, Blue Jays fans in attendance in Los Angeles shared one common thought.
How are you feeling?
Tired.
And with good reason. The 18-inning game that tied a Major League record for the longest in World Series history took 6 hours and 39 minutes to complete. 19 pitchers took to the mound for both the Jays and the Dodgers. Combined, they threw 609 pitches.
My heart has never beaten so fast.
Too many bases loaded and no runs. Too many innings, no runs.
While draining at times for fans and players, there were also moments of levity, including a 14th inning stretch.
And that's what's going on right now.
What will you remember most about being part of what is now tied as the longest World Series game in history?
For me, it's going to be the excitement, all of the energy that was coming from the players, but the fans as well. And
it was exciting, exhilarating, exhausting, and most of all, truly unifying.
Longest game in World Series history, whatever it is, tied for it. I mean, these guys are enjoying it. You know, they were in the right mindset and the right headspace the entire time.
This postseason is proving to be a marathon. The race is still far from over.
Going to be running on adrenaline tonight, but let's go, Jays, go.
The most significant statistic from last night's game may have come from Shohei Ohtani. 2 doubles, 2 home runs, becoming the first player in Major League Baseball postseason history to reach base 9 times in a single game. Now, the Jays are down, but they're not out. The sun is still shining here at Dodger Stadium. It's a new day at the ballpark. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Los Angeles.
London police say the man behind Creeper Hunter TV was arrested last night after attending a screening for a documentary about himself at the Forest City Film Festival. Police say Jason Nasser breached his release conditions and now faces 3 additional charges, including harassment. He was previously convicted of harassment, extortion, and child pornography, given a conditional sentence and house arrest. Police say he was also ordered to stay away from his victims' families, and that's why he was arrested last night. London police say they're laying charges against a second person related to last week's anti-war protest at RBC Place. A large police presence converged on the convention center last Tuesday, responding to protesters blocking entrances. According to police, a man wearing a mask put up a barricade, then assaulted someone who tried to remove it. On the day of the protest, police arrested a woman from Owen Sound, laying property damage charges. A local Alzheimer's researcher says a new drug approved for the disease is a game changer for patients. With more on just how much time the treatment can offer patients, here's Rita Ismail.
It is being touted as a medication shown to be able to stall dementia for people in early stages of Alzheimer's, and it is now approved by Health Canada.
The medication is not a cure. What it does is it slows the underlying disease process by removing amyloid protein from the brain.
While existing medications treat symptoms, lecanemab is the first drug authorized in Canada that targets the disease's underlying cause in order to reduce the rate of cognitive and functional decline.
It is game-changing in the sense that it tells us that we can actually modify the underlying disease process. So this is one of the early pathologies that occurs, and we can remove the amyloid. We're thinking that if we can go even earlier when the amyloid first begins, before a person has ever any cognitive impairment, eventually we'll be able to slow the process so that there's less likelihood of them progressing to cognitive impairment. We're not at that point yet.
The drug has already been approved in 51 other countries and regions, including Japan, the U.S., China, and European Union. According to the Alzheimer Society of Canada, an estimated 771,000 Canadians are living with dementia. As Canada's population ages, that number is expected to grow to 1 million by 2030. Dr. Bori says the drug is a first step in dealing with a very complex disease, and it brings hope.
Looking at the people who've been on the lecanemab, it saves about 1 year. So you get about a savings of 1 year over 4 years. Now, some people would say that may not be important, but others may say, if it saves me from going from one phase of cognitive impairment, from mild cognitive impairment to mild dementia, that may be really important for them.
Lecanemab is taken by IV every 2 weeks and comes with serious side effects. The cost of the drug in Canada has not yet been determined. Rita Ismail, CTV News.
A film shot at the old Chatham jail is about to premiere 2 years after it started production.
Figures you dum-dums come waltzing in. So cool. Stir up trouble, but friend. Damn.
We're gonna be so famous.
Fresh Meat is about a group of influencers who break into a prison who are then hunted by a cannibalistic inmate. The director calls it a horror comedy set for its big screen debut this Saturday at Chatham's Capitol Theatre. It's also being selected to screen at Toronto's Horror Film Festival. When we come back, how banning American booze has proven a boon for local winemakers, their success in spite of the trade war. Plus, the latest on Hurricane Melissa, the storm crashing into Jamaica with devastating force.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We begin tonight with Ontario's latest.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. ctvlondon.ca, your home for news.
Welcome back. Two Bruce County brothers have converted part of their family farm into a cannabis grow-op. Scott Miller has more on their business vision, which they say is focused on quality over quantity.
On the outskirts of Teeswater, Chris and Marty Johnston have converted part of their 150-acre family farm into one of the most reputable craft cannabis operations in Ontario.
I think there's a difference in having a family-owned private company, and there's a different sort of focus for you as in terms of putting your all in to make it successful, and that's really where we've been.
After their father passed away in 2015, the Johnston brothers, who come from sales and tech backgrounds, not agriculture, were looking for a way to keep the family farm. Typical crops weren't going to do it, they thought, so they turned to cannabis. They started with 6 acres in 2020, recently doubling to 12 acres, encompassing 17,000 plants.
So we surrounded ourselves with everybody that knows agriculture through and through, and we married sort of our expertise in business with their agricultural expertise and leaned on them heavily because we knew what we didn't know, and growing 12 acres of cannabis was certainly that.
Moonrise Farms, as it's called, isn't trying to become a large national cannabis brand, focusing instead on high-quality, organically farmed, premium, sun-grown cannabis with a great origin story, one they are happy to share.
We treat it like a cannabis vineyard, and that's really the goal, to take the stigma out and make it more approachable to more people is, come on in. You know, it's we're not hiding behind a fence because we're the boogeyman.
Not only do they grow cannabis, they process and make their own cannabis products right on the farm, which are then shipped across Canada, but largely end up in the Ontario Cannabis Store, which is aggressively marketing Ontario-grown cannabis to try and establish a craft cannabis industry, not unlike the craft wine or beer industry. Quality
has become more of a priority than just price and potency. And that's really a space that we're living in.
While they are focused on the 5-week-long harvest of their 17,000 cannabis plants this month, the Johnston brothers envision becoming a full-circle operation, eventually selling their cannabis right from the farm, just like Ontario wineries and breweries do now.
Consumers want experience as well as the final product, and we've always wanted to build a home base where people would want to come and see how is this made, who's making it.
Near Teeswater, Scott Miller, CTV News.
Hurricane Melissa has been downgraded to a Category 4 storm after making landfall in Jamaica earlier today as a Category 5. As Scott Hurst reports, in more than 150 years of record keeping, the island nation has never seen a storm like this.
It is a storm likely being watched very closely by a whole lot of Canadians who are either from there originally, still have lots of family and friends there, or like to vacation in Jamaica. But right now, there is significant concern about widespread devastation.
This is what's going to be a generational storm for Jamaica and potentially even eastern parts of Cuba.
The island nation is bracing for catastrophic damage, the worst storm in Jamaica's recorded history to officially make landfall. Residents and tourists alike are being told to brace for impact. It is an extremely dangerous storm and a potentially life-threatening situation. We spoke to a Canadian in Jamaica now hunkering down at a resort, but getting home might take some patience.
We have a plan A to go on Wednesday, which is our original flight out, but we do have a plan B to leave on Saturday. The airport's closed until Tuesday.
After pummeling Jamaica, Melissa will take aim at Cuba, still as a powerful hurricane. Other islands in the Caribbean are also being impacted, including Haiti, the Dominican Republic, as well as parts of Bahamas and Turks and Caicos. Even before landfall, Hurricane Melissa is being blamed for 7 deaths in the region, including 3 in Jamaica during storm preparations. Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
We are heading back to Wolf Performance Hall now, rejoining Julie Atchison live on location for us tonight. Julie, over to you.
Thank you. Yes, we are on location tonight, the Forest City Film Festival, with the Youth Film Festival being screened this evening. We're joined by Pierre Walklist from Stratford District High School. That's when you submitted your film. Tell me a little bit what it's like to be part of this film festival.
This film festival, it's my first film festival. I'm really excited to be here. It's been amazing so far. Everyone's been super nice. But the big thing is, I feel like as far as youth film festivals go, this one is really well put together. I would highly recommend anybody, any youth who has a film that they think could do well in this festival to submit, because the worst case scenario is you come here and you have a great time. So it's been such an amazing experience. We're treated like professionals, and there's booths to find out more about prestigious schools such as Toronto Film School and OEART. So it's been an amazing experience so far.
And tell us a little bit about your film. Now, all the films being screened tonight are about 5 minutes long. You have to tell a very short story in that amount of time. So what's your story about?
So my story, and 5 minutes is really short. We went through 6 drafts, something like that. So my story is about a party sent at the last 45 roughly minutes of the world. And so what the film ends up being about is how all these people at that party react to it being the end of the world. What would you do? Do you hang out with your friends knowing that this is your last time ever, or not bother because it ends anyways? These are questions that we dive into in our film, and it really allows for a deep emotional connection between the characters and asks really profound questions that I don't think are often asked.
You're a very well-spoken young man. You're now at Sheridan College taking filmmaking.
Yes, I am. It's such an amazing program. My top choice. I would recommend anyone going into film, definitely give Sheridan your highest consideration.
I love the energy here tonight. There's so many people out here excited for the screening of your film, I'm sure. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, conditions across our region today as we shift gears and head into the weather. Temperature-wise this afternoon, we hit 12, 3 degrees our low. That's close to normal for this time of year, although it did feel quite cool and fresh this morning. We have those cooler mornings now with some frosty conditions. The record set back in 1989 on the hour. We're sitting at +9 in Midwestern Ontario, 9 to 10 degrees, and double digits as we head towards Sarnia and Chatham. Satellite radar keeps us in the clear. We're under the influence of high pressure, that high just out over central and northern Quebec. There's a cold front trying to drive towards the Great Lakes, but we'll keep that at bay tomorrow and stay under the high, which will keep us in a nice sunny pattern. As we head from coast to coast, conditions fairly fall-like. No big weather systems moving through across Canada. All eyes, of course, on Hurricane Melissa, as it, again, one of the strongest hurricanes ever in the Atlantic Basin. Overnight, 2 degrees in London, Mount Forest, KW at the freezing mark, and then Wyerton through Goderich, 3 to 4 degrees. Next 48 hours, well, that cold front not really packing a punch for us, but what we will see is an area of low pressure driving up from the south. So look at that moisture that's moving in. That's a low that cruises by. We have rain in the forecast as we head into Thursday morning, and then periods of rain expected heading into Thursday afternoon, evening. Unfortunately, rain will linger into Halloween, so we are expecting some wet conditions to hold, and temperatures expected to dip down to about 8 to 9 degrees over the coming days. So tomorrow will be the end of the sunshine for a bit. The winds out of the east, 20 with gusts to 40, the forecast high of 13 degrees. Our Metal Roof Outlet forecast for your Thursday, rain and 8. Friday, wet conditions. Now at this point, latest forecast model showing the heavier rain early in the day. It should start to taper to showers heading into Friday evening, and I'm going to break that down for you as we get closer to Friday, but at this point, we are expecting some light rainfall Friday night. 9 degrees on Saturday and overcast, mainly cloudy on Sunday, 10 degrees Monday, and 9 degrees heading into Tuesday. Midwestern Ontario, mix of sun and cloud. Beautiful day tomorrow at 12 degrees, and then cool and wet Thursday and Friday. The spooky forecast, it's going to be a bit damp. As we head into Saturday, still a chance of showers. Daytime highs over the next 7, averaging close to normal, 8 to 9 degrees, coming in a bit below, but overnight lows are staying above the freezing mark. So the Forest City Film Festival continuing tonight. This Youth Film Festival portion of it, really a special night for all of these young people to be able to showcase their talents, and about 25 films being screened. And the neat part is, again, Carlyle, that these films are about 5 minutes long. So these storytellers are having to really pack a lot into their short films. So wonderful evening down here tonight. Lots of energy and some fantastic films being screened. Back to you.
Sounds fun. Thanks very much, Julie. Still had thousands of job cuts at Amazon. What's behind these layoffs just a few years after a similar workforce reduction?
To try and help the Blue Jays win, we've been using our special powers and having some guests on the show.
Join us tomorrow morning at 6:45 to find out if they were successful.
Officials with Canada Post have announced dozens of managers are losing their jobs, part of broader company restructuring. A memo was sent to employees early this morning saying the company is moving ahead with layoffs to align with the organization's future needs. There was no mention of how many employees are losing their jobs. Meanwhile, post office and union officials are expected to get back to the bargaining table later this week in the midst of rotating national strike action. Amazon officials say they're cutting 14,000 jobs while ramping up investment in artificial intelligence. Most of the job losses will come from the company's corporate workforce. Officials say they had overhired during the pandemic and they're now trying to slim down. This would be Amazon's largest job cut since 2022, when 27,000 positions were eliminated. The Prime Minister's Asian tour has arrived in Singapore. It's the second of 3 stops before a visit to South Korea, where he's expected to meet with the president of China. As Judy Trin reports, Mark Carney's focus is getting more countries investing in Canada.
You have 40% of global trade coming through here.
As he surveys Singapore's massive state-of-the-art port with its CEO, the Prime Minister is reaching into his Rolodex to find new partners to invest in Canada's major projects.
Our Prime Minister is very well connected globally to not just political leaders, but to corporate leaders, leaders of significant investment firms, sovereign wealth funds.
Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump is being courted. Sana Takaichi, Japan's first female leader, gave Trump a golf club owned by her predecessor, the late Shinzo Abe, and promised to nominate him for the Nobel Peace Prize. Then they signed an agreement to cooperate on critical minerals.
But tonight I'm more confident than ever that the friendship between the United States and Japan is strong as it can be.
After missing each other in Malaysia, Carney and Trump will both be in South Korea for the Asia-Pacific Economic Summit. At APEC, both have bilateral meetings set up with China's Xi Jinping. When asked if Canada would break with the U.S. and drop tariffs on Chinese EVs, Carney said it's too soon to decide.
There's no preset offer issue. This is the difference between relationship and transaction.
The Prime Minister will spend less than 24 hours in Singapore before traveling to South Korea for another economic summit. Tensions are expected. Since Trump broke off trade negotiations, he said that he will not meet with Carney at APEC. Judy Trin, CTV News, Singapore.
Canada's main stock index finished higher, helped by strength in the technology sector. The TSX was up 143 points. In New York, the Dow rose 161, the Nasdaq gained 190. The Canadian dollar was up almost 1/5 of a cent. On commodities, gold fell below the $4,000 an ounce mark, while oil dropped $1.16 a barrel. Still ahead, using science to smash pumpkins. The London students taking their classwork to the extreme.
5K a day is back on 97.5
Virgin Radio.
Listen to Jeff KP and Backstage Ben for your chance to win $5,000
Every weekday.
5K a day.
Virgin Radio.
My name's Sandra McCabe. I'm the Director of Women's Services with CMHA, Mental Health and Addiction Services. My Sister's Place is a program that supports women who are in need of resources. It is operational during the daytime hours up till 7 p.m. and it's located in downtown London, Ontario. Currently, this is a daytime program. What we need a program that supports women in the after hours. We need safety and shelter for women, and we need a program that people can go to, that women can go to seek shelter and safety. So the overnight spaces are really important. Women are walking the streets at night in the cold, and they need a safe space. We have 10 resting spaces available for women each night. And $100 can provide one night of safety and shelter for a woman. At our resting spaces, we'll be able to connect them with resources in the community. We will be able to offer them a new beginning. For more information on how you can make a difference, please visit our website or click on the QR code.
London police say they've charged 3 women and they're still looking for 2 men after several guns, cocaine, and stolen motorcycles were seized. Police say those items were seized during a raid at a home in East London on Friday. And today they released photos of these 2 men who they say are the subject of arrest warrants. Police also say the 3 women arrested remain in custody. Officials with the provincial government say they want to scrap fixed election dates and increase how much political parties can receive in donations. Ontario's Attorney General says fixed election dates are American style and claims doing away with them would better position the province to respond to changing circumstances and threats. The current rules do allow the government to call an early election already, though, and the Attorney General did not make clear what exactly would change there, if anything. The bill would also increase the amount an individual can give to a political party from $3,400 to $5,000. Southwestern Ontario winemakers say for them, the trade war has ended up producing a record year. A major part of that, taking American products off LCBO shelves. With more, here's Robert Lothian.
Across about 12 acres of grapes, Colchester Ridge is in the midst of a busy season. With only 2 varieties left to pick, this one is already being chalked up as a success.
The growing season is always good in this area.
Producing wine-quality grapes requires certain weather conditions. A mix of hot, dry conditions throughout the summer and early fall made for the perfect mix.
When we have excessive rains and things of this nature, the berries swell up, they take on all the moisture, and that waters down the sugars that are available in the grapes. So the drier it is, the sweeter our grapes.
It's been a hot and heavy one. We've pulled in a lot more grapes than we ever have before.
Sprucewood Shores President Steve Mitchell says success is also growing outside the vineyard. The LCBO is reporting sales of Ontario VQA wines made strictly from Ontario grapes are up 67% compared to this time last year.
Most years when we have a good year, you might see 4 or 5% growth. That would be a solid growth year. It's 70%, so it's actually gone bonkers.
Mitchell credits a shift in provincial policy that includes Ontario's boycotting of most U.S. spirits and wine as part of the ongoing trade war.
In the era of trade wars and, people basically looking at what we're buying from and, what we're buying, it makes a lot of sense for us to buy and grow something here that we can make. To buy from somewhere else is just another trade imbalance.
Ever since they removed the American wines from the shelf, they had to make up the shortfall, so they started to promote our wines.
While there's no telling when U.S. wines will return to Ontario shelves, producers in Essex County are confident new customers are here to stay. Robert Lothian, CTV News, Harrow.
Thank you to the general manager of Bowler Mountain for sending this in, Greg Strauss. The snowmaking process has started at Bowler Mountain. This is the positive temperature unit that was installed about 3 years ago. This unit's been running for about a week, and the piles are starting. It's going to take a while for those temperatures to drop off and for us to see any real measurable snow. But we have rain in the extended forecast, and temperatures will take a bit of a dive as we head toward Halloween.
Toronto's Budweiser stage at Ontario Place is getting a new name and will shut down for renovations in 2 years. The new name will be the RBC Amphitheatre. Officials say it's scheduled to close down in fall 2027, so additional summer lawn seating can be installed, along with movable enclosures for more colder weather performances. They say the roof will also be rebuilt, a new lookout deck will be added, as well as a second pedestrian bridge. The newly refurbished facility is expected to reopen in spring 2029 and be an all-year venue by summer 2030. For many who endured last night's historic World Series tilt, today might have been a bit of a battle. And as Paul Hollingsworth reports, out east, it meant an even later bedtime for baseball fans.
Game 3 of the World Series was historic. A baseball marathon, an emotional roller coaster ride. Blue Jays fans who stayed up until early Tuesday morning were crushed and
tired.
Some fans tried to watch the entire game.
But I was too tired. At my age, you got to get to bed.
Others chose to look away.
I couldn't believe it when I heard it went 18 innings.
Ohtani, center cut fastball, ball swing, ties it.
The stress was too much, so they turned off their TV.
I'm checking the phone every few minutes to see what the scores are.
Even some hardcore fans decided staying up until almost 4 a.m. on the East Coast wasn't worth it.
Once it goes to an extra inning, you know there could be a lot more. So I just said, no, this is it. I'm done.
At a Rogers Centre watch party, about 1,000 dedicated fans stayed until the bitter end, with the score tied 5-5 and 3 a.m. Eastern fast approaching.
High fly to center. Varsho back. Game over.
When Freddie Freeman stepped to the plate in the 18th inning, for some it was merciful, a mixed blessing.
Disappointed the Blue Jays lost, but happy I got to go to bed.
Another round of possible sleep deprivation could take place tonight in Game 4 of the World Series in Los Angeles. Paul Hollingsworth, CTV News, Halifax.
London's top stories.
We have breaking news tonight out of Ottawa. The latest in the
breaking news alerts.
I'm tracking an area of severe weather. It'll start.
And watch live.
A development now to a story from City Hall we brought you.
Download the CTV News app.
Finally tonight, 2 young London students who are taking their homework very seriously. They've built a huge catapult capable of launching pumpkins across a park. However, as Sean Irvin reports, they're still going through the scientific process of trial and error.
Big or small?
Big. These grade 7 boys are picking the ammunition they need for their contraption designed to squash the competition. It is a trebuchet, or if you'd like it simplified, a powerful and accurate catapult designed to hurl pumpkins to a splattering end. Was that your goal, boys, to build the biggest one?
Yeah, and hopefully it go the farthest.
The catapult idea comes from a long-standing annual assignment for students at Wortley Road Public School. Casper DeParawa and Connor Schwartz grew up watching senior students build catapults. But now that it's their turn, they're out to break the record. After being handed the assignment, they went to Connor's dad, Dave.
Connor came home and said, hey, let's build a catapult. And I smiled and we started.
Following a design created by the boys, the trio took 3 weeks to build their custom pumpkin chucker. Throughout the project, the boys have followed science.
Kind of learning about like getting hands-on and well, geometry, weight, physics, and all this other stuff.
If we can get them interested in physics early on, then that carries on through their whole high school career.
As will the memory of what they've built here.
It's pretty exciting when you're launching a 10-pound pumpkin hundreds of feet.
But as often happens in science, things can go awry. And in this case, not even a pumpkin patch could help. Despite having plenty of pumpkins to launch, it just wasn't the boys' day. While it appears the catapult worked just fine, the pumpkin went sideways. Worse, the winch cable snapped, forcing an early end to the day.
Things don't work out. It's trial and error.
But because we all want to see a pumpkin fly, here's a look at some earlier attempts captured by a cell phone. Next up for this crew is the afternoon competition at school.
We've got a lot more pumpkins to launch and smash, so Thursday will be the day.
But should somehow things again go sideways, they take solace in knowing there is always a consolation prize after a food fight. Do either of you like pumpkin pie?
It's my favorite pie.
It's your favorite? Well, you're going to have a little bit of leftovers. In London, Sean Irvin, CTV News. That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For your latest local headlines, you can always head to our website. I'm back tonight with your late news at 11. Bye for now.